You cannot make a grand statement and then disappear off into your corner office and assume it will happen. We have to be role modeling. Well, it would depend on what they're trying to achieve. So we've got a lot of changes happening, and that's making us talk about various big themes, and they're very important. But each individual organisation is different, and the strategy is different. So I think it needs to be considered advice. I would say on broad terms at the moment, if we're trying to increase the resilience of the team and the organisation, we're trying to increase the speed, we're trying to increase the ambition, we're trying to increase the ability to take on new ideas, to innovate, to deploy AI, whatever it may be, that we are in general terms, in a time when handing over ownership is becoming more and more important. So my advice then on team leadership is to build psychological safety first and foremost, because we need people who are truly present and 100% willing to offer their ideas and challenge you, the leader, sitting around the table. So inclusivity, psychological safety beyond all, clarity as always on what we're trying to do. What we found as well very effective is inviting the team to build their own standards of excellence. And when we interview teams before we start working with them, generally at C-suite, even there, they don't have standards of excellence in place. So agreed behaviors that we've all signed up to, not because they're nice, but because we believe that's what's required to deliver the objective and inspire the organization to deliver that objective. And I guess so to save writing a book, because it's a big question you've asked me, the last thing I'd add out of many possibles is to be very aware of your emotional regulation. That comes back to psychological safety, it comes back to inclusivity, it comes back to giving ownership. But if you're not aware of when you're showing your frustration and anger levels, you might choose to show them on occasion, frustration levels or confusion, but we're moving away from the age where the loud, boisterous leader has any kudos in the organization. So unless you want to create a tension that is unhelpful, that will have people pulling back and trying to second guess you rather than come fully present, I would be very aware of your emotions and your emotional regulation. How long have you got, and what's the change? So you can change it for the worse really quickly, do some screaming, some shouting. Those exec teams, old-fashioned C-suite teams where people sit outside waiting for their slot, and as each person comes out, they say, what's it like in there? How are they? If your people are doing that outside a meeting, they're not inspired by you, they're not engaged by you, they're scared of you, and that's not what we want. So how do we begin to change that culture? It happens right from the top. I think the cultural change comes from role modeling. It comes from being very, very clear. So by role modeling, I mean asking questions more than giving answers, being curious, willing to take a chance on somebody's idea, not frivolously, not without thought, but not to reserve all the ideas for yourself. So we're beginning to push a cultural change, if that's what you're looking for, of ownership, of accountability, of innovation, of resilience. We're giving, therefore, ownership over. That means we're asking more questions than we're giving answers necessarily. We're building confidence, we're creating clarity, and we're giving a very distinct ownership for people to go and deliver. And there's a symmetry to that, of course, which is the people then need to be able to rise up and take that. And that's the journey of cultural change to me. The leaders move a little, the people move a little, the leaders move more, the people move more. I heard it described brilliantly by a CIO, information officer we were working with recently in a FTSE top 10 company, who said there've been some problems, so I've stepped forward and I had to get involved. But when the leader does that, everybody else takes a step back. So now I need to take a step back, but that's going to create a void unless you will all be good enough to step forward now and fill that gap. So I want to move back and give you the ownership, give you the accountability. And what we're seeing really across the board is a frustration of accountability and ownership. But that's because during recent uncertainties, I think leaders have taken the wheel. So being very clear on the vision, the difference we're going to make, connecting people to their part in delivering that vision. Very often people have no idea what the impact of their work is, especially if they're in an HQ function. So helping people, even out at the front line on the sales teams, helping people really see the difference they make. I spoke to somebody recently who ran a big kitchen company, and he said, "Oh, we just make kitchens." I said, you're the CEO, you don't make kitchens, you sell dreams, you change lives, you transform how children interact with parents doing their homework. It's an incredible thing that you do, and you could see immediately that spark light up with him. But how do we light that up across his people? That's clarity, communication, connection, inspiration, and then finally giving that ownership, allowing people to go do their thing. I think for the first time in human history, we're inviting people, we need people to bring their whole selves to work. We need a level of enthusiasm, ownership, connection to their output, connection to what the difference they make that we've never done before. And so by inviting people to come in 100%, to be included, to be who they are fearlessly, we have to create an environment where that is safe for them and where that is effective for them, where they're able to do their best work. And so giving people the opportunity to do their best work, helping them be clear on what that is, and then moving out of the way is the future of work. I think there are some other very interesting things that are happening with different voices getting louder in the workplace, which is incredibly exciting to see as we grow diversity and build genuine inclusivity. I think we are moving towards an age of much greater humility. We don't know how it's going to work. We have greater uncertainty. So again, the arrogant and incredibly certain chief executive, country leader, GM, team leader can't hold tremendous credibility at the moment. We need a degree of certainty about what we're going to do, but we have to have humility about how we go about it. We have to be taking input from different people, and lifelong learning. You know, I have two fabulous daughters. One's 26 now, one's 9. Long story. My 9-year-old, even more than with my 26-year-old, because I couldn't see just how transformative life, their world was going to be. But with my 9-year-old, working on helping her develop a growth mindset, helping her love learning, helping her learn that she can achieve tremendous things if she puts in the grind, the tasks, the showing up, and the habits to deliver. She can learn extraordinary things, and she is doing, even at her young age, things that fascinate her, not that fascinate me. But helping her see that is a mission of mine, and that's because I see that as a vital skill for the future of work. Whereas my first career was in corporate law, and I was brought up at home and at school to believe that once I'd become a corporate lawyer, I was a corporate lawyer, and I would retire at 65 as a corporate lawyer, and I'd have a pension. And of course, those days, thankfully, in many ways, are long gone. To transform into new ways of thinking and working, I think there are two elements. There's the strategic element. Why are we doing this? How are we doing this? What are we doing? And then there's the execution element. So how to transform into a new way strategically is not what I do. How to transform into a new way of thinking and working in order to execute new and different things that will take courage and innovation and humility and exploration and risk and delegation and inclusivity and diversity and resilience. That's what I do. So I would encourage there to firstly be incredibly clear on what it is you're building. We're all building stuff, but most people don't realize what it is the chief executive and the C-suite are building. So let's get incredibly clear on that. Let's break it down so that people understand, and that means really working hard with our team leaders. Our team leaders get ignored. They are the key. So there's another thing that I'd put into the mix, giving a real focus to the people who touch your people every single day. Of course, they are your people also. They are your team leaders. So do they have the mindset and the skill set to give people ownership, help them find the courage to transform, to do new things? Because that's where it's going to happen. Change happens on a cellular level. And we're moving now from the machine, the predictable, certain machine that we used to build that would churn out results, into far more of an agile organism, driven by purpose, driven by ownership, driven by each cell being able to make its own connections, its own decisions, in concert, in collaboration, in alignment, in order to deliver. And that means we're treating, that's why I was so excited about the future of work. That means we're treating our people so very differently. Now, our team leaders need the skill set and the mindset to be able to support us in delivering that change. Final thing I'd say on this is the importance of role modeling. You cannot anymore, as a senior leader and a team and a more junior team leader, you cannot make a grand statement and then disappear off into your corner office and assume it will happen. We have to be role modeling. And the reason for that is people need to see it's really happening and you're really doing it. They don't listen to your words, they watch your actions, how you behave. What is it safe to do around here in order to feed my family, progress, do well, grow? So they need to be able to see you. They need to be able to see you role modeling what you're asking for. You want humility, vulnerability, and a lifelong learning culture. You better be role modeling that. And CEOs are, by the way. I have the privilege of attending lots of events, and will also deliver longer term programs which are kicked off by senior leaders. They're absolutely role modeling their own level of uncertainty, vulnerability, courage in the face of uncertainty, the learning they're doing, the books they've got on their bookshelves at the moment that they're desperately trying to pull up inspiration and ideas from as they move forward. Many elements to how we would truly transform that way of thinking, but giving ownership, clarity, connection, excitement, and true empowerment to deliver, I think, is key. I grew up very influenced by my school, by my parents who wanted me to be safe in a 1980s mindset, and did exactly what you would do to help somebody be safe, a young person in that environment, which was help them get a good job with a good wage attached that would keep them safe for life. I became a lawyer, no disrespect to the law or lawyers. I personally was a very unhappy lawyer. And by the age of 30, I had to make a change, and I did. The inspiration for that change, which became the inspiration for Taming Tigers, was standing on Clapham Junction Station in London, going into work on a Sunday, a sunny, beautiful Sunday. A train announcer announced a train going to Brighton. International viewers, it's a beautiful seaside town, party, lovely atmosphere. Very vibrant city, town. And so I thought, wow, if only I could go to Brighton, but I have to go to work. And then I realized that I could go to Brighton, that I was choosing this course. I didn't get on the train. That would have had a horrific consequence in terms of the work that I was committed to do. But I did make big changes as a result of that. And that realization that we hold the pen, we're writing the story, we can be driven by our outdated narrative about how we have to behave and who we have to be and what the expectations on us are, not our duties and responsibilities, but expectations. Or we can rise up, become courageous, pick up our pen and write our own story. And that means we'll have to overcome the tiger, because the tiger is that emotional response we'll get when we do the new thing. We don't know it'll work. The heartbeat races, voices of self-doubt start to speak to us. We feel very uncomfortable. We feel ill at ease. And we've got to be careful not to say, you made me feel, I made me feel, my beliefs made me feel, and I have to manage my emotions in order to move forward.